engine purred as I sat behind the wheel, the dim glow of the dashboard providing the only solace on the desolate road. I glanced at the clock, which displayed 3 a.m. The rain outside beat relentlessly on the car's windows, adding to the eerie ambience. I was driving back home after a long night at a friend's party. The heavy fog had descended upon the world like a thick blanket, and the darkness seemed impenetrable. My headlights cut through the mist, revealing brief glimpses of the twisted trees lining the roadside. The silence inside the car was deafening, broken only by the rhythmic sound of raindrops on the roof. I turned on the radio, hoping for some distraction from the haunting atmosphere. A soft, distorted melody filled the car, but the signal kept fluctuating due to the weather. Feeling increasingly uneasy, I decided to turn it off. But the silence that followed was even more unsettling. As I drove further into the night, my unease grew, as if an unseen presence was watching from the shadows. My heart raced as I saw a figure in the rearview mirror, a person standing on the side of the road, barely visible through the rain and fog. My instinct screamed at me to keep going, but compassion won over, and I decided to check if they needed help. I stopped the car, my headlights illuminating the figure. It was a woman, soaked to the bone and shivering. My heart sank as I realized she was alone, without any sign of a vehicle nearby. "Are you all right?" I called out, my voice barely audible above the rain. She turned slowly, her face obscured by the hood of her dripping raincoat. "Please," she whispered hoarsely, "help me." Feeling a chill crawl up my spine, I unlocked the passenger door, inviting her in. As she entered, I caught a faint scent of decay, sending a shiver down my spine. "Where are you headed?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She didn't respond, merely pointing ahead. I followed her gaze to the road ahead, but there was nothing there, just darkness and fog. Nervously, I resumed driving, my mind clouded with worry and curiosity about the mysterious woman. The radio crackled back to life, but this time it played only static. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, and I felt an overwhelming urge to flee, to escape from this nightmarish situation. Glancing at the woman, I noticed her clothes were ancient, like something from another era. Dread gnawed at me as I realized she hadn't spoken another word since getting into the car. My imagination ran wild, conjuring horrifying scenarios about who she might be and what might have happened to her. I decided to break the eerie silence. "What's your name?" I asked, my voice trembling slightly. She turned her head towards me, her face still concealed. "You wouldn't understand," she replied cryptically. My heart pounded, and I gripped the steering wheel tighter. Something about her response felt menacing, as if she knew something I didn't. As we continued driving, the fog grew thicker, reducing visibility to almost zero. Panic clawed at me, and I considered pulling over, but the woman's presence held me captive. I felt trapped in a nightmare with no escape. In the distance, a faint glow appeared, like a beacon of hope in the darkness. I approached it cautiously, praying it was a sign of civilization. But as we drew nearer, my blood ran cold. It was an old cemetery, the tombstones barely visible in the mist. "Stop the car," I yelled, desperation evident in my voice. The woman didn't protest, and I quickly got out, my heart pounding in my chest. The rain pelted down relentlessly, drenching me in seconds. But my focus was on the woman, who now stood outside the car, watching me with an eerie stillness. "What do you want?" I shouted, my fear giving way to anger. "Why are you doing this?"